Tonight, Gatineau commuters wait with bated breath ahead of a possible STO strike.
Everything relies on it for me. I have to go to work for it, and if I don't go to work, I don't get money. I can't feed my family. I can't do anything.
What transit riders are saying as the clock ticks down, with workers possibly walking off the job as soon as tomorrow. A do-or-die affair in Toronto for the Blue Jays.
I'm looking forward to some production out of Vladdy. Max Scherzer threw a great game last game. Lots of energy.
Baseball fans across the province, including here in Ottawa, anticipate a crucial game to try to keep this season alive. And piecing together a rare look at the past.
I can't remember if they were all in one book or maybe in 2 or 3 books. And I just noticed them, and I thought, oh, I'll take these books.
How an Ottawa woman found ration cards from the Second World War and then tracked down the owner's descendants. Good evening and thank you for joining us. The clock is ticking down on the possible strike by STO managers that could seriously impact tomorrow's commute for Gatineau workers. CTV's Kimberly Johnson has been out in Gatineau. She's been speaking with those who rely on the bus service. And Kimberly, I understand that there has just recently been a development. What more can you tell us?
Austin, earlier today, the STO announced it was offering the union a chance to go into arbitration to narrowly avoid a strike. However, right before going to air, the STO sent a statement saying buses won't be running as of tomorrow morning.
For me, the strike is not good, so please, STO, please, tomorrow. I need a bus for my job.
Audrey Blais says the bus is incredibly important for her, but there's a chance it won't be an option on Monday.
I take a bus for my job, for my friend, and the church. Every day I take a bus.
The STO and the union representing bus supervisors have yet to reach a deal. On Sunday morning, the STO announced it was offering the union a chance to go into arbitration. But if the offer is turned down, buses will be pulled off of the roads on Monday in the event of a strike, leaving commuters to find another way to get around.
I need the bus mostly to get to work, to pay my rent, and to go and wherever I need to go.
The STO is warning transit riders to make other plans. Parking businesses say to expect lots to fill up early.
Buses are already hard to get around. Traffic's already going to be difficult to get through. So I think this will just add on to everyone's travel time and stress getting through.
The union represents more than 50 supervisors and say a sticking point in negotiations is job security and wages.
First of all, I think it's quite valid, but definitely it will affect me. So usually I take the bus around 9 a.m. to go to Ottawa. I will have to maybe leave home 1 hour earlier to see what's going on and then maybe take a taxi to go to Ottawa.
A decision to strike coming down to the wire. For some who use the transit service, it plays a vital role.
Everything relies on it for me. I have to go to work for it, and if I don't go to work, I don't get money. I can't feed my family. I can't do anything. It will ruin my life because I can't afford taxi service. I can't afford Uber.
Parking lot companies ask drivers to exercise patience and to get in as soon as you can, as lots are expected to fill up quickly during the strike. Again, the STO just confirmed moments ago buses will not be running as of tomorrow morning. Austin?
Certainly a significant development right before going to air. Kimberly, thank you very much for this evening. Well, the pressure is on for the Toronto Blue Jays tonight as the team fights to keep their season alive against the Seattle Mariners. Game 6, a do-or-die for the Jays in a postseason run that has captivated the nation. CTV's Natalie Van Roy joins us live with more on how people here in the capital are following the Jays. Natalie.
Austin fans here are excited with Jays making the American League Championship Series. It's bringing a boost to local bars and stores.
At the Glebe Central Pub in Ottawa, fans are decked out in blue ahead of Game 6 between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Seattle Mariners.
It's my vintage 1992 Toronto Blue Jays shirt. Last time they won the championship. Hopefully I can get a newer shirt.
The game bringing a boost to local bars and restaurants.
I'd say it brings in a pretty big crowd, a pretty mixed bag of people too. You got some older folks and younger folks all coming together to watch the Jays game and rooting for them.
The series exciting for sports fans.
I think everyone loves a home team going into the playoffs and winning, so it's good stuff.
Well, I like the fact that they're getting, as I say, lots of hits, and the characters on the team are very engaging, like Vladdy and Springer and Barger and some of the others.
In Toronto, fans outside the Rogers Centre on Sunday afternoon ahead of the big game, hoping for a victory with the pressure high. Back in Ottawa, Johnson will be closely watching the team's lineup.
I'm looking forward to some production out of Vladdy. Max Scherzer threw a great game last game, lots of energy. So yeah, it's a great squad, lots of character all around. So they're fun to watch.
We do have some t-shirts here. That's like the retro style that came in a little while ago.
This series has been a chance for more sales at this small business. Game on Ottawa.
Been busy, a lot of J stuff, jerseys, t-shirts, a lot of hats, hoodies, and then everything else too. It kind of adds to it, but of course, a lot of people are basically in the spirit to want to support the team. This has been a really popular style, the panel.
Owner Bobby Mohammed says he hasn't seen this level of excitement for the team in a decade.
Jay's playoff run is the best kind of thing, because everyone's basically pumped up to, see the team go all the way, hopefully win the World Series.
And the game starts just after 8 p.m. and we will have to watch it closely because the Mariners are only one win away from their first ever trip to the World Series. Austin.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game, hopefully, at least. Natalie, thank you very much for this tonight. CTV's Natalie Van Roy live for us this evening. So the competition is hot, and so too is the weather. This was an absolute scorcher today. In fact, it was a record-breaking high. 25.9 degrees today was the high, and that's why you're seeing that pumpkin in the sun. It breaks a record for October 19th, narrowly surpassing the previous record, which was set all the way back in 1963. So at least 2 weather records have been surpassed when it comes to warm weather this October. And in fact, there is an open air fire ban that's now in effect, according to the Ottawa Fire Services. And so that's something to keep in mind. We do have some rain on the way. You can see our current temperature at 25, right around the daily high. Tonight's low, 13 degrees, and we do expect some showers over the course of this evening and throughout the region. 11 degrees is the low in Gatineau, with some showers there as well. It's 13 in Kemptville tonight, and then tomorrow 14 degrees, and the rain is going to stretch for a couple of days, so hopefully that fire ban will be able to be lifted. But for now, again, that is in place, so no open air fires here in the nation's capital for the time being. Well, one man is in custody after police say he stabbed a woman in Lowertown yesterday afternoon. The incident happened in the area of Cumberland and St. Patrick Streets. And in a statement to CTV News, Ottawa police say while on patrol, officers observed a man stabbing a female victim. Police intervened, arrested him, and assisted the victim until paramedics arrived. Police say charges are pending, and paramedics tell us a woman in her 20s was taken to the trauma center in serious but stable condition. A somber vigil was held last night in Overbrook to remember the young boy fatally hit by a dump truck earlier this week.
We love everyone so much.
Will be always loved and forever cherished.
More than 100 people coming together, supporting the boy's family and remembering 5-year-old Jackson Mansfield O'Bray. He was hit by a dump truck Wednesday afternoon on Presslin Road, east of Lola Street. MPPs are set to return to Queen's Park tomorrow after last sitting in June. A number of topics will be up for discussion when the legislature is back in session. And CTV's Beth McDonnell gives us a preview.
It's been more than 4 months since elected members debated in the Ontario legislature. Tomorrow, a new session starts.
I think what Canadians or Ontarians particularly should look forward to is a hyper focus on the economy, affordability, jobs, protecting them, and also buying Canadian. The Premier has made clear the economy has to be the top priority to safeguard workers.
The Minister of Energy and Mines says over the 19-week break, the government has been busy implementing Bill 5, a controversial law, especially with Indigenous groups, to speed up major projects. Expect more disagreement this fall around the Skills Development Fund, Bill 33, which aims to make significant education changes, including requiring police officers in some schools and legislation to ban speed cameras. With Bonnie Crombie out, the party is now searching for another leader, as a new online survey with 1,268 respondents is revealing possible support for rumored candidates. They include doctor and health policy expert Andrew Buzeri, recent federal Liberal leadership candidate and MP Karina Gould, banking and communications executive and former Liberal federal minister Navdeep Bains, MP and previous Ontario leadership candidate Nate Erskine-Smith, and Etobicoke Lakeshore MPP Lee Fairclough. The survey found 48% chose Buzari, 30% Gould, and 23% Erskine-Smith, with Buzari being the only one who could beat Premier Doug Ford in a potential matchup, 52% to Ford's 48%. The pollster behind the survey says voters and Liberals appear to be looking for someone with experience who is new and fresh.
And also they're looking for someone who could win. So perhaps what they're also responding to is this really, a very impressive biography, someone who has already, I would say, a voice kind of on social media, which is part of what we tested in the poll.
Doug Ford is a jobs disaster.
After the NDP handed lukewarm support for leader Marit Stiles in her leadership review, the opposition is expected to go after the government on its promises and speak up on unemployment, education, and healthcare. The fall sitting is a short one, just 7 weeks. It wraps December 11th for the holidays and doesn't return until mid-February. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
Well, it is one of the best times of the year. It's hockey season, not just here in Ottawa, but right across the country for all types of players, including those with the Ottawa Power Wheelchair Hockey League. It's a group that's proving the love of game knows no limits. CTV's Josh Morano joins us live with more from the season opener. Josh.
Yeah, Austin, it's the return of a league that's all about teamwork, speed, and inclusion. The Ottawa Power Wheelchair Hockey League welcomed in even more players this year, and the season is already off to a fast start. The sound of wheels on the gym floor and sticks clashing signals the start of another season in Ottawa's Power Wheelchair Hockey League.
This league has done so much for my sport world, but also for my life. It has gave me a purpose.
Schleier is a seasoned vet playing his 13th season of the league. He says he's happy to see it continue to grow, welcoming in more players, staying active, and making new friendships.
I've just stuck with it because I've gotten better and better, and I've got to see so many people get better and better too.
I get to meet other disabled people that are just as athletic and competitive as I am, and I don't know, it's like a little family here.
And even a little friendly competition.
I do take a lot of penalties, unfortunately. That's the competitive edge coming out.
The league welcomes players with varying disabilities, giving them a chance to participate in sport.
It gets you out of the house, and when you have something to do, and it's a sport that, like I said, everybody loves.
Run entirely by volunteers, the league has grown steadily over the years and is one of the largest of its kind in Canada.
We have 4 teams that'll play each other every Sunday. Each team consists of 7 or 8 players around, so we've got 31 players registered right now, which is a fantastic number for our league to be at.
We start out as just teammates, but we become like real friendship and like a chosen family kind of way as well.
And as the new season kicks off, players say it's not about the wins or scoring, but the feeling of belonging.
I love sports, and I would watch my peers and be on the sidelines, and this sport just felt like it gave me confidence in myself that I can do anything that I put my mind to, no matter what challenges I might face.
The Ottawa Power Wheelchair Hockey League plays almost every Sunday until April, with tournaments and a championship later in the season. Organizers and players say they are always looking for more players to reach out on their website or social media if you're interested. Austin.
Yeah, absolutely love that story, Josh. Thank you very much for this. CTV's Josh Morano reporting live for us tonight. Well, it's probably not the kind of discovery you'd expect from an old book. A piece of the past now connecting 2 families, 2 provinces, and 1 remarkable chapter of Canadian history. CTV's Caitlin Wilson has that story.
We have 2 different kinds. We have a ration book 5 and we have ration book 6.
It's the last thing Sherry Laurent expected to find when she picked up a couple of old books from a church sale in St. Lambert, Quebec, more than 30 years ago.
I can't remember if they were all in one book or maybe in 2 or 3 books. And I just noticed them, and I thought, oh, I'll take these books.
Tucked between the pages, pieces of history frozen in time.
This one was the newer version. It has a couple more pages.
They were ration cards issued to Canadian families during the Second World War when things like sugar, meat, and butter were strictly limited to help stretch supplies and support the war effort.
My parents are both deceased, but they, lived through the war and that sort of thing. So I've heard about them, but I had never seen them in person.
For years, she kept them on a shelf before moving to Ottawa, where they sat in a box until recently when she came across them again and wondered who did they belong to. So she turned to Facebook, posting a few photos and a name.
Within minutes, I had a couple of people, hey, I know that family, I could put you in touch with somebody. So it literally took less than an hour.
Her search led her to Ian Keeler in Brossard, Quebec, the grandson of Don and Agnes, known as Nessie Keeler. The names written on the outside of the books, which also belonged to his father and uncle.
The part is really interesting. I'm a very big interested in my genealogy. So I was very, very keen to get those ration cards because to me it added another piece of the history.
He says his grandfather had immigrated from Trinidad, served in the First World War, and married his wife in Scotland before the couple settled in what's now St. Hubert, Quebec.
It's a lot harder to find stories and the links to the past when the people are no longer with us. You've got to go with little bits and pieces of paper you find in books.
Now Ian's sister plans to meet Sherry in person to collect the ration cards, a small act of kindness closing a chapter roughly 80 years in the making.
That book has two stories. That is the original story of the book and also the story of the World War II ration cards. And I think that's just very, very, very interesting.
Caitlin Wilson, CTV News.
We will turn to anywhere who can supply us. You have to understand we are a 1.4 billion population country.
As efforts unfold to rebuild the long-fraught relationship between Canada and India, that country's new High Commissioner says Canada is, quote, not yet a reliable supplier of conventional energy. We'll have more on his comments after the break. Before we go to break, here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. It's a beautiful evening. It's warm, too, 24 degrees. We are tracking the latest from the Middle East, where a ceasefire that started just a week ago is now at risk. Israel says its military has begun a wave of attacks against Hamas in the southern part of Gaza. Israel claims the attacks are in response to attacks against its troops in parts of Gaza. Hamas says it is unaware of any clashes in the area, adding it is committed to the ceasefire, but Israel says this amounts to a violation of the agreed-upon ceasefire.
Hamas's violation of the ceasefire. The prime minister actually held a consultation with the defense minister and the heads of security establishment and instructed them to act forcefully against terrorist targeting in the Gaza Strip. This is in reference to an incident that took place in the Rafah area inside of the Gaza Strip.
All this happening as humanitarian aid trucks bound for Gaza could be seen moving from the Rafah border crossing in Egypt to the Kerem Shalom crossing in Israel instead. That's because Israel has not allowed the Rafah crossing to reopen. The trucks are said to be carrying food, supplies, tents, and fuel. The delivery of aid into Gaza has been hampered by the continued closure of the Rafah crossing. Meantime, 2 of the recent Israeli hostages were able to get back to their home today. Cheering crowds greeted the 2 28-year-olds who are also twins after they were released from hospital. Gali and Ziv Berman were among several hostages taken by Hamas on October 7th. Criminal accusations and diplomatic expulsions. Canada's relationship with India has been fraught for years now. But efforts are underway to repair and rebuild those relations, and energy could play a key role. CTV's Jeremy Sherrill has more.
It is one of Canada's most valuable resources, and Ottawa is looking for new markets to export its energy products in the future as India faces pressure to find a new supplier rather than relying on controversial Russian oil.
Would you turn to Canada as a supplier in lieu of that?
We will turn to anywhere who can supply us. You have to understand we are a 1.4 billion population country.
In an exclusive interview on CTV's Question Period, India's new High Commissioner said India wants Canada to be a reliable partner and believes it could be.
We look for suppliers where they can be a reliable supplier, not a supplier who today says, okay, I'm going to supply you, and tomorrow says, no, I have this problem with you, I cannot supply you.
Do you consider Canada reliable in that vein right now? Not yet.
Not yet.
The High Commissioner's comments come as Canada looks to rebuild its relationship with New Delhi.
I think there's so much at stake for both countries, so I'm hopeful at this point. It does appear to be moving in the right direction.
Energy clearly is going to be a big part of that relationship.
This former diplomat and expert on Canada's relations with Asia believes there's potential for significant Canadian energy exports to India in the future.
I think what we're seeing from the Indian side is signaling that they are interested, but that they're looking to see what Canada has to offer.
But efforts toward new trade ties between the two countries come as allegations made by former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and the RCMP linking Indian diplomats to homicides and extortions in this country remain under investigation.
This will continue to be a challenge for both governments.
Global Affairs says Canada continues to engage with its Indian counterparts on law enforcement engagement and is committed to strengthening and rebuilding its relationship with India. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Ottawa.
The Louvre in Paris was closed today following a heist at one of the world's most famous museums. Officials say the robbery only took a few minutes, with the thieves using a basket lift to enter the Louvre. They forced open a window, smashed display cases, and made off with a number of jewels. The thieves reportedly took 9 pieces from the jewelry collection of Napoleon Bonaparte. Another stolen jewel was later recovered outside the museum. A growing number of Canadian cities are declaring states of emergency over housing, giving them the power to tear down homeless encampments. However, Canadians remain divided over the use of those emergency powers. CTV's Kamal Karamali reports.
These are what the people here once called their homes, an encampment in Toronto taken apart and torn down Thursday, one that was right outside Reverend Maggie Helwig's church.
What do you feel when you look at this fencing, these cinder blocks?
Very sad, very angry.
About a dozen unhoused people she considered family over the past 4 years, living in tents in the church courtyard, but technically on city property, until Toronto Fire Services deemed it a fire hazard.
City staff moved in and they were kicking people's belongings around and tossing stuff, really not respecting the fact that these were homes.
Those who live in the area have a different view.
My opinion is that it's better that they cleaned it up.
Telling us about drug use, thefts, and a fear for their safety.
This place was an exacerbating condition that bred a lot of rats.
Now, new nanos polling done for CTV News found the public is divided when it comes to communities declaring states of emergencies to clear homeless encampments from public spaces, with 57% saying they support or somewhat support it, while 37% say they're opposed or somewhat opposed to it.
Barrie, Ontario declared a state of emergency just last month, while Edmonton called a homeless emergency last year, removing thousands of encampments.
We have 5,000 people every day that are homeless in this city, more people than we had before. So clearly the camps are not the problem. There's something else that's the problem.
The problem appears to be a lack of affordable housing. Ottawa has announced tens of billions of dollars to affordable housing programs over the span of a decade, but homes can't be built fast enough.
It's going to take 5 years from the ground up to actually build those.
For Reverend Maggie Helwig, it's a sign encampments are needed until more housing is built.
I would really ask people to remember that these were human beings who lived here.
Human beings she hopes one day can find a home. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Ahead of Prime Minister Mark Carney's trip to Asia, a South Korean defense company is shoring up support for its submarine technology. They are hoping to secure a contract to replace Canada's aging fleet, and as CTV's Judy Trin spoke with the CEO about why he thinks they are the best choice.
Canada's 4 aging submarines will need to be replaced in a decade. South
South Korea's Hanwha is one of 2 foreign defense companies competing to build the new fleet. The Prime Minister is expected to tour its shipyard later this month while attending an economic summit of Asia-Pacific leaders.
The Canadian government knows that we have a great submarine, that it meets all of the requirements.
Hanwha is pitching speed, promising to replace all 4 submarines by 2035, then delivering 1 vessel each year after until Canada gets a full dozen by 2042. Each submarine will cost about $2 billion to build, but the bulk of the contract, which spans decades, is in maintenance. Hanwha has signed up more than 30 Canadian companies to help with that.
What we're interested in is supporting the submarines, providing equipment where we can, and doing really responding to what the customer and what Canada, the government of Canada, is looking for.
Yeah, we're producing the weapon tube section.
In August, Mark Carney visited the competing sites. According to reports, the joint German and Norwegian venture could take a different strategy. The Europeans may propose building the submarines in Canada, but Hanwha's CEO says that will delay the project.
Based on priority number 1, delivering on time, the schedule would slip drastically if we were to develop the capability and build the submarines in Canada. So for that reason, we never submitted a proposal.
The German and Norwegian defense ministers are expected on Parliament Hill next week, just days before Mark Carney leaves for Asia and a visit to Hanwha's shipyard. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
You know, you hope to rest in peace, and they come and do that. It doesn't make sense.
Toppled headstones at a cemetery in Moncton. Now staff need help with the cleanup efforts. We'll share those details right after the break.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
There's a live look through our Centennial Glass Skycam. A beautiful evening. Current temperature 24 degrees. So it's getting late in the evening, but we're still just about 1.5, 2 degrees off the record that's set for this day. And it really was a scorcher. Beautiful day to get outside. You can see those blue skies hanging over the nation's capital. People out and about walking around Kawecki Point, back to Majors Hill Park, taking in the National Gallery. Again, that surpassed a record that was set back in 1963 with today's high of 25.9 if we want to get specific. And so we are expecting things to cool off from there because, well, they kind of have to. Here's a look at the satellite radar. Bring in some showers, a weather system our way, which is good news for anyone in rural communities dealing with drought-like conditions. We're going to start, however, out on the East Coast, 5 degrees in St. John's, and they do have some rain there right now, 11 in Charlottetown, 12 in Halifax. We're currently sitting, as I mentioned, 24 degrees. Toronto at 17 with some showers as the Jays get set to play a massive match against the Seattle Mariners in about an hour and a half. Quebec City currently sitting at 12 degrees. Out on the prairies, it's 9 in Saskatoon, 11 in Regina, 10 in Edmonton, and 12 in Calgary. So they're around seasonal for this time of year. 13 in Vancouver with a mix of sun and cloud and some showers. You can see tomorrow afternoon that high of 14 degrees. And so periods of rain coming with it as well. There is, I want to mention this again, a fire ban that's in place that just came down the line from Ottawa Fire Services. Hopefully these showers will mitigate that risk. You can see the Ottawa Valley with a high of 12 degrees and showers tomorrow. But for right now, there is that fire ban still in place. Along the Seaway, expecting to get to 17 tomorrow afternoon. Rain there too. And the rain will be sticking around for quite some time. Looks like a 30% chance on Tuesday and a 30% chance on Friday as well. But all throughout, we're going to have rain off and on until next weekend. Highs in the double digits, but getting to the low double digits. You can see Friday, 10 degrees, 11 degrees on Saturday. So starting to feel more like this time of year outside of that massive temperature swing that we saw today. A recent act of vandalism saw more than 40 headstones toppled at a cemetery in Moncton, New Brunswick. Now the small staff are trying to deal with a major cleanup effort, and they're hoping for help from the community. CTV's Sarah Plowman has that story.
Row upon row, loved ones rest. But the headstones that mark their place have been disturbed. More than 40 toppled in one night.
I think it's disgusting that someone would come in here and purposefully knock over headstones.
The damage seems random, spread across the Elmwood Cemetery, which holds Moncton's history, and Steve Campbell's great-great-grandfather who died in 1874.
His name was Daniel McLaren. He was a pharmacist here in Moncton.
His monument was pushed and is now cracked.
It's sad to see that happen, and anyway, we'll fix it.
Jill Maillet's parents' headstone wasn't knocked over, but seeing what was is upsetting.
It's malicious, and it's, these people are, you hope to rest in peace, and they come and do that. It doesn't make sense.
Staff here managed to put 10 of these toppled headstones back in place, but others are cracked, broken, or so heavy, more help is needed.
We don't have all of the proper equipment that we need to lift these massive monuments. Some of them are 10 feet tall.
A crane will have to be brought in. As police investigate who caused this, staff are receiving offers to help fix it.
I'm hopeful that we can get most all of these back to where they should be before the snow flies.
To Moncton's mayor, this is not just sacred ground, but an outdoor museum crucial to preserve.
So it's a very important part of the story of Moncton.
From cracked marble and granite to large stones to move, the repairs will be a huge task for a small staff, but one they will effort with enormous care. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Moncton.
Without him at Quebec and without the anonymous donor, I wouldn't be here today.
Still ahead, we hear the incredible story of a man nearly killed in a landslide. He's now highlighting the need for blood and plasma donors, which saved his life.
Pure Country 94 wants to send you to Sandals South Coast in Jamaica. We're giving away an all-inclusive Caribbean vacation for two every weekday. Listen for your chance to win. Pure Country Passport with Sandals Resorts. Get closer to the Caribbean.
Montreal is home to a major medical advancement. A new tool is using AI to help detect cancer, and it's most commonly testing on brain cancer that can be aggressive and dire. It's offering new hope to patients for better outcomes. CTV's Olivia O'Malley reports.
I'm looking forward to that.
Peter Ross was given 14 months to live when doctors found a tumor in his brain. That was almost 4 years ago. Now he and his wife are getting ready to become grandparents. He says his second chance at life is all thanks to this surgical device made in Montreal that uses AI.
It's given me the rest of my life.
I keep pinching myself that, wow, he's still here. He's still here. So when the alternative is that he's not. So whatever happens, it's, we're grateful.
Ross was referred to Dr. Kevin Petreka at the Montreal Neuro. He is the co-founder of Sentry, a handheld device that differentiates cancerous tissue from healthy tissue.
98.7% of the time, if it says it's tumor, it's tumor. And equally, or maybe even more importantly, if it says normal brain, it's normal brain 100% of the time.
Petreka says cancer is not visible to the naked eye or any other technology. So this tool allows surgeons to go beyond what was previously possible and remove more cancer than ever before.
You make contact with the spot and you will get feedback within less than 3 seconds if it contains tumor cells or not.
According to Petreka, using this device during surgery can extend a patient's life by 2 to 5 times longer than expected. Hundreds of patients have been involved in clinical trials, including Ross.
I take every extra day that's given to me to go out and walk and just, enjoy life, because I owe that to this surgery.
The next step for Sentry is to be FDA approved. A pivotal trial is scheduled for May. Once completed, Petrecka says they will apply for Health Canada approval. Ross hopes after that the tool will help more patients live to experience precious milestones. Olivia O'Malley, CTV News.
Well, after a devastating accident, a Quebec man is sharing his story in an effort to hopefully get more people to donate blood and plasma. He says he would be dead if it wasn't for the generosity of a stranger. CTV's Rachel Lau reports.
Looking at Jean-Philippe Catty today, you could never tell that 2 years ago he was fighting for his life. It's a harrowing story, one he doesn't like to revisit too often.
It's kind of unreal because it went so fast inside of a minute. The world around me collapsed.
It was July 1st, 2023. Catty and his partner Pascal Racine were hiking in the Saguenay Fjord National Park when it started to rain hard. As they were trying to leave, they heard a loud boom. Seconds later, the road was gone.
The landslide just went on in like 15 seconds, and I found myself in the river, standing there, chasing for my life.
They were both thrown into the river. Catty held onto a tree branch for 90 minutes. Both of his legs shattered as he waited for help. Racine never made it out.
It's always a question of why did you survive, and there's no really response for this since I'm still here. I had to fight a lot in the river in order to be able to continue my life.
He spent 75 days in hospital, undergoing 10 surgeries and hundreds of hours in physiotherapy. What saved his life? His family, his determination, and many blood and plasma donations.
I'm the proof living of why people give blood and do donation through Emma Quebec. Without Emma Quebec and without the anonymous donor, I wouldn't be here today.
Hema Quebec says cases like Catty's are prime examples of why donating is so important.
It's a struggle every day, but you know what? We make it happen. And it's not magical. It's because of Quebecers' generosity.
Catty says he's finally able to enjoy life again and become a blood donor for the first time.
I'm the happiest dad of 3 beautiful daughters. That made my life easier, if I can say this, surviving this catastrophe and continuing having a reason of why I'm still here.
His message? If you can, give blood. He's proof that it really is the gift of life. Rachel Lau, CTV News.
Still ahead, we'll tee up that Blue Jays do-or-die game against the Mariners, and it comes as Toronto police say they've been charging more and more people for illegally flying drones over the Rogers Centre.
Dream big with Move 100. Now, dream $20,000 bigger. Starting next week, listen for your chance to win $20,000. Dream big, win bigger with Ottawa's Move 100. Hey.
CTV and TSN 1200 want you to be the Myers Automotive Group Team of the Week. Your team could win $1,000 for new equipment, tournament fees, or an incredible team party.
Shoot us a quick video uploaded at ctvottawa.ca. Whether it's hockey, ringette, choir, band, or any team in between. Each week, the winning team will join us live in studio at CTV Ottawa at 6 to claim their prize.
Enter today for your chance to be Myers Automotive Group Team of the Week.
In tonight's Big Picture, some spooky pre-Halloween scenes on the streets of Mexico City. Thousands of zombies strutting their stuff in the annual Zombie Walk. Some good looks right there. The event tracks ghouls of all ages as the undead roam downtown ahead of Halloween. Zombie Walk events, they first came to life in California in the early 2000s, and since, as you can see here in Mexico City, they have spread right across the globe. Turning now to some of the other stories that you need to know, and for this, CTV's Kimberly Fowler joins us with more. Kimberly.
Well, it's rivalry week. It's rivalry weekend in the OHL, Austin, and the 67 and the Frontenacs, well, they've gone head-to-head twice in 3 days.
Has his pocket picked by Cooper Foster's got. He scores! Cooper Foster!
That goal from Cooper Foster would help the 67s come close to mounting a comeback, but Kingston, they take this one 4-2, your final score. Now, this marks the first time that the 67s have lost back-to-back games. They lost 2-1 to the Petes yesterday. The 67s' next game is set for Thursday night in Windsor. The Bank of Canada is set to release 2 big reports tomorrow. Its Business Outlook Survey and the latest customer expectation numbers. Now, this comes after the central bank cut its key interest rate by 1/4 point last month, bringing it down to 2.5%. The bank said the economic outlook and weakened the balance of risks had shifted enough to justify a cut. The Bank of Canada extends to push a forecast of the economy at its upcoming interest rate decision on October 29th. Thousands of runners raced along the streets of downtown Toronto today as part of the 36th annual TCS Waterfront Marathon. Roughly 9,700 runners took part in the full marathon. The Toronto Marathon is the premier marathon event in Canada, and it doubles as the country's national championship.
2-2 again. Hit in the air to right and deep. And it is a grand slam.
Well, the countdown to Game 6 of the ALCS is on as the Blue Jays look to stay alive. That grand slam there in the 8th inning of Game 5 on Friday lifted the Mariners to a 3-2 series lead. First pitch for tonight's game is set for just after 8 o'clock. And meantime, Toronto police say 7 more people have been charged for illegally flying drones over the Rogers Centre during the playoffs. The most recent incidents happening during Games 1 and 2 of this ALCS. Now, police use specialized technology to intercept those unauthorized flights by the drones as they are in a federally designated no-fly zone. Well, it's one way to check out the game, but
yeah,
do it legally.
Come on. Really? You think you can just fly a drone up there?
Yeah, you know, when I used to fly in the helicopter to do traffic, sometimes we'd see drones and we'd be like, you don't realize how dangerous that is, especially if you don't see that that's coming towards you.
No kidding.
Stop it, guys.
Yeah.
You know better.
Subtle little flex as well. When I used to hang out in the helicopter.
Well, you know.
It's a very cool job. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe they get hit by one of those balls, one of the drones flying in the sky.
Only.
Flatty home run coming up tonight.
Yeah, you called it.
After the break, we'll mark a very special achievement for an absolute legend, David Attenborough. We'll have those details right after the break. But before we go to break, there's a look through our Centennial Glass Skycam. It is still a warm 24 degrees.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, I'm Tanea Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barrhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barrhaven Ford,
Ottawa's newest and largest Ford dealership, and Ontario's #1 Ford EV dealer.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
Here's a recap of the top local stories we're following right now.
It will ruin my life.
Commuters in Gatineau relying on public transit. They will have to find alternate arrangements for tomorrow. The STO confirming late this afternoon the complete suspension of bus service starts tomorrow morning.
Tonight we're expecting a big crowd and hopefully a lot of cheers. Yeah, so this is my
Down 3-2 in the ALCS. It's win or go home for the Toronto Blue Jays in a postseason run that has captivated the nation and provided a boost to local bars.
I can't remember if they were all in one book or maybe in 2 or 3 books, and I just noticed them and I thought, oh, I'll take these books.
And connecting through Canadian history, an Ottawa woman is reuniting Second World War ration cards to their original owners' descendants. And we're going to take a last look at your weather forecast. It has been a scorcher. That's a big story of the day today. Record-setting heat for October 19th, breaking a record from 1963, waking up to 13 degrees. And the rain is going to settle in, and it's going to linger for just under a week, off and on over the course of the next 7 days. You can see that until Friday at least, which again, I've been saying this, it's great news for anyone in rural Ottawa that is waiting to get their wells filled up and dealing with drought conditions. We also just learned today from Ottawa Fire Services that there's a fire ban in place, so hopefully this will dampen the soil and reduce that risk of any fires. Okay, well, finally for us tonight, a very special achievement for an absolute legend.
Yes, iconic British broadcaster, writer, and naturalist Sir David Attenborough has made history.
You have to say the name with an accent.
I do.
You just have to. Yes, Attenborough is 99 years old, and on Friday, he became the oldest person to ever win a Daytime Emmy Award. Voters recognized him for outstanding daytime personality for his narration in the Netflix program Secret Lives of Orangutans. The previous oldest actor to win a Daytime Emmy was Dick Van Dyke. Now, he won the award last year at 98, so that was for his guest spot on the drama Days of Our Lives. Attenborough just narrowly edged him out, and he will hit the century mark in May.
So now Dick Van Dyke has some time to get another one.
Yeah, yeah, get to work, Dick. Thanks for watching. Good night.